Keegan Bradley announcing his team. And let's just get right into it, because pick number one, I don't think was a shock to many.
So our first captain's pick is Justin Thomas. He's the heartbeat of our team. Justin is the heartbeat of our team. He had an amazing win at RBC this year. He's the 5th ranked player in the world. This guy was born to play Ryder Cups, and specifically, I think, at Bethpage Black.
You know, captain's done a great job of choosing the team, and also who's qualified is, you know, everybody is here for a reason. And, you know, I would tell anybody to just be themselves, especially the guys that have rounded out this team, and have either qualified or are being picked for a reason. And to just be ready when we get there and enjoy it, because it's going to be a pretty crazy, wild week.
It's interesting because I was asked by someone about, well, what about the performance of Justin Thomas in Rome? That was a different Justin Thomas in 23 than we're seeing right now. He finished 7th in Ryder Cup points, and he was back and forth between he and Harris English on that automatic last pick. And this year he had a win. He had 8 top 10s. He's 6th in strokes game putting, 17th in strokes game putting, and 6th in strokes game total. And his last 5 events were most impressive, as is his impressive his record in the Ryder Cup, 7, 4, and 2 overall. After that, now pick number 2 for Keegan Bradley.
Second captain's pick is Colin Morikawa. Colin is one of the most genuine, thoughtful people that I've ever met. He's an incredible teammate, incredible ball striker. You know, his golf resume speaks for itself. But more importantly, he'll do whatever it takes to help our team win. And he brings so much to our team, and I'm really proud to have him.
I'd say there's definitely not less pressure. There's always more pressure, and that's what we encompass every day as a professional athlete and as a team when we show up at Bethpage. But with that, we always talk about pressure being a privilege, and I think all 12 of us are going to be ready to step on that tee, and it's how we take that into our hands and look at pressure as something that we can overcome, and we're going to use that as a positive in our way. And obviously being at home is going to be as helpful as you could ask in any setting.
So Colin Morikawa, by virtue of the year that he had last year, ended up 8th in points, in part because he was in these signature events, which have a higher purse, and a higher purse equates to more points in the current point system. I do think that's something that they may want to take a look at. His 2025 campaign was okay. 4 top 10s. And remember, when I show you some stats here, we're showing you the top 2 statistical categories out of many, many, many that we could have chosen. 3rd in strokes game approach. His ball striking with an iron in hand at the very least is sublime and always has been. He's 5th in driving accuracy. His last 5 events, okay, cut, and then you go tied for 22nd, tied for 33rd, tied for 19th. Remember, that's 70 and 50 and 30 in terms of field size, so you have to do a relative comparison in terms of where he finished. However, his experience is very good. He does have a winning Ryder Cup record. Okay, from there, the 3rd pick for Keegan Bradley was one of the rookies.
Our 3rd captain's pick is Ben Griffin. Ben is an extremely confident, excited player. He's burst onto the scene this year with 10 top 10s, only 2nd to Scotty on our team, including 2 wins, one at Colonial and one at Zurich, which plays the same format as the Ryder Cup. I'm really proud of this player for making this team. He had to show all year that he was playing at this level, and he was consistent the entire year, and we're really lucky to have him on this team.
You know, going from a desk job to making my way back to the PGA Tour has been an incredible journey, and this year, you know, it's been kind of a breakthrough year for me, and I've just been working really hard and believing in myself, and I'm just really excited to be a part of this team and appreciate the belief not only from Keegan but also from the rest of the captains and other players that also believe in me, and I'm ready to work hard and fight for a lot of points at Bethpage.
Perhaps some of you may be unaware of the fact that Ben Griffin at one point stepped away from the game, just didn't think that he had it in his heart and soul to be able to compete on the PGA Tour. And man, has he proven otherwise. In 2025, 2 wins, 10 top tens. He's 7th strokes gained total, 22nd in strokes gained putting. And just his last 5 outings, look at those numbers, those last 4, tied for 11th, tied for 9th, tied for 12th, tied for 10th. Speak to his prowess and how well he's playing. His position is 9th in the final points, illustrates what I was saying earlier about Colin Morikawa, who didn't have a year that compares anywhere to the scale of Ben Griffin, but because Ben didn't start out in those signature events, he didn't get as many points. That's why I said we may want to take a look at that as we go down the road. All right, the next appointment for Captain Keegan Bradley was another rookie.
Our 4th captain's pick is Cameron Young. Cam has been one of the most consistent players on the tour the last 4 or 5 years. He broke through with that amazing win at the Wyndham Championship that he's been fighting so hard for. Watching him on Sunday with that big lead play like that was incredible. Cameron's a New Yorker. He won the New York State Open at Bethpage Black as an amateur, set the course record that day on Sunday with 64. Cameron pounds the golf ball, and he's putting it as good as he's ever putted in his career. He's had 9 top 12 finishes, which shows you how consistent he's been. We're very proud to have a New Yorker on our team and represent his country at Bethpage Black.
Obviously playing for your country is very special, and for me, the U.S. is home, but New York is really home for me. So going back up there to somewhere that I love, I can't wait to get up there. And I don't know about a louder ovation than our captain, but hopefully I've got some support out there.
Cam Young definitely found something. Look at his last 5. And the reason why I have last 5 up there is I think a recent form matters. Okay, cut. And then he wins at the Wyndham. And since that time, 5th, 11th, tied for 4th. Are you kidding me? For Cam Young. His dad was a longtime head professional at Sleepy Hollow, which is in Westchester, which is in the Metro New York area. It's just north of the city, of course, this Ryder Cup being played out on Long Island. But look at those stats. Remember I told you we pulled the top 2? 6th in strokes gained putting. Very impressive in and of itself. Consider this, though. In 2024, in that category, he was 144th. And in 2023, he was 158th. Cam Young has found something indeed. Much will be said about his prowess off the tees and his power off the tees, but I do not think we can emphasize enough that which Keegan Bradley was talking about, and that is the fact that he is putting the very, very best that he has in a long time. The 2 more picks that we have left starts with this one, which I'd kind of put in the category of Justin Thomas, that if you believe that the team wants to have some stability and wants to have some experience, that I don't think you'll be surprised by this one.
Our 5th captain's pick is Patrick Cantlay. One of the greatest pleasures these last couple of years of being the Ryder Cup captain is getting to know Patrick better. He's got a 15-6-1 record in team events. He's a leader of our team. When he speaks, people listen. Quite simply, Patrick was born for the Ryder Cup. This is where he thrives. This is where we need him. So he's an integral part of our team and a leader and someone we're going to rely on heavily at Bethpage.
Yeah, well, first of all, I just have to say what a honor and a privilege it is to be picked for the team. I have to say these team events over the last 5 years, a lot of them are some of my best memories that I have playing golf really in my whole life. And just the first team event I played in the President's Cup in Australia, is where I started to become friends with Xander. And I feel like not only my relationship with Xander, but a number of the other players on the U.S. side has really grown as I've been able to share these experiences with them every year on the team events. And so these team events just mean everything to me. And some of my favorite part of the year is going out and trying to put points up on the board for my teammates.
All right, so Patrick Cantlay has made the team. Keegan Bradley talking about his placement on the team as a captain's pick was based in part by his leadership that he shows in the locker room. I thought that was interesting because last time that wasn't what we were hearing from the interaction with Patrick Cantlay in the locker room. But apparently all of that has been risen above by his experience and steady performance, which may not have been to the plateau that we've expected in the past from Patrick Cantlay, but it was good enough to get the captain's attention. And then finally this, the last pick by Keegan Bradley.
So our last captain's pick is Sam Burns. Sam is an incredibly passionate golfer. He's the best putter on the planet. He has won the match play championship. He has an extreme competitive fire in his belly. I have a lot of respect for Sam and the way that he came on at the end of the season to make this team. His back was against the wall, and he played well every week to end the season. And I've been in that position, and that's some of the hardest times to play good golf is trying to make these Ryder Cup teams, and Sam did that. We'd love to have Sam on our side with that putter at Bethpage. I can't wait to see him out there in front of those fans. Plays with his heart on his sleeve, and people at Bethpage are going to love that.
Yeah, I think, being on these teams, it's one of the highest honors you can achieve in this sport. And I think, kind of to Pat's point, it's been really, very cool to watch Keegan go about this process and the way he's handled it. It's been really special to watch, and I'm so privileged and honored to be a part of this team.
It has been very much a part of the speculation, at least for the last few days, as to whether Sam, who was 16th in Ryder Cup points, would get selected for the team. But when you've got a guy that is first in strokes gained putting, it is very, very impressive indeed. All right, so now you can see in the graphic that we have up on the screen exactly who will be representing the United States for the Ryder Cup team in New York. I'm not sure what your reaction to it, if you were surprised about it at all. If there was any surprises at this press conference, I think the greatest surprise was from the captain himself, in that Keegan Bradley, by all accounts, was playing well enough to be on the team. But Keegan Bradley was also the captain of the team. So the big question was, do you want to be a playing captain, the first since Arnold Palmer did it in the 1960s, or do you want to segment your role? That is precisely what Keegan Bradley decided to do, the latter. He decided to be the captain and not place himself on that team. He spoke to it.
So the decision was made a while ago that I wasn't playing. The last 48 hours, we had the team set. We weren't scrambling at all. This was a really tough decision. I would say there was a point this year where I was playing a while ago, and all these guys stepped up in a major way and played their way onto this team. And that's something that I'm really proud of and something that I really wanted. But it was an extremely difficult decision, and, but one that I'm really happy with. I'm really happy with these 6 players, and I'm glad it's over.
So Keegan Bradley deciding that he wants to focus solely on his role as captain of the United States Ryder Cup team. The only question I have to that, which I wish that he was on the team. I would have loved to have seen it happen, but that's personal. It's got nothing to do with anything else. The only question I have to it, though, is if you made the decision apparently some time ago, whatever time frame that represents, that you were not going to be a playing captain, why save that announcement until the day that you announced the rest of the team? Because it was just such cause of wild speculation. Is he already just a genius captain, and he knew that by leaving that question lingering, it would force the focus upon will he or won't he, instead of looking individually at the other players? In other words, diminishing the noise aside from that which he attracted to himself. Was it a marketing stunt because it causes a lot of attention therein? Those would be the question. Nobody asked him that, but I would be curious what the reason was for the timing of the announcement of what he intended to do relative to playing or being the captain.